Good morning everyone. A lovely guy called David, who I've done a few bits and pieces for fairly recently. The other day dropped off not one, not two, not three, but four.
1, 2, 3, 4
ProAc tablet speakers. I think these are one of the older variants. There's been a few variations of this speaker. I think these are probably one of the original ones. And yeah, they're a nice compact little speaker really, and quite well respected, but they do suffer from corrosion. The woofers particularly suffer from corrosion. The underside of the magnet underneath the spider corrodes, and you end up getting corrosion in between the bobbin and the magnet, which can cause lots of issues. And the voice coils themselves corrode and break down. You can see on these two in particular we've got a lot of corrosion on the front. Interestingly, on the domes of the tweeter as well. I think that's just because they're sticky and muck has kind of stuck to them, but yeah, so they're basically all four are the same. These two are in a lighter wood, these two are in something slightly darker. These two have a grey grill, grey cloth. These two are like a brown burgundy sort of colour.
I'm on burgundy?
Yeah, these two cabinets are probably in better condition than the others. We've got a lot of scratches and things in the veneer, but all the corners are nice and intact, whereas on the darker pair, this one's pretty good. I think they've seen a bit of a hard life really. This one has a corner knock there and there, but not too bad. Yeah, they've been apart before. So the idea is, initially it was to have a look at them and see what's what. So I've done all the measurements, just some basic measurements on them, which I'll put up in a minute, and you can see that I've numbered them 1, 2, 3 and 4, and you'll see that I think it's 1 and 3 are playing pretty well, but there is a bit of distortion in the woofers range. I'm not 100% convinced it is actually from the woofers. I think it might be from the crossovers. And when I've had a subsequent look inside, I found no end of dry solder joints and loose connections and things like that. Pretty bad. So yeah, 2 and 4 have no output from the woofers. So I'll put those measurements up now with all the distortion figures and bits and pieces so you can have a look. So yeah, they're the measurements. Like I say, 2 and 4, no woofer output. But when I brought them in the workshop to have a look at them, I found that if I ran a test tone, maybe let's say 200 hertz, something like that, and pushed on the woofer, from time to time they would spring into life, and they feel a bit gritty. So I'm pretty sure the voice coils have suffered from corrosion and they're just breaking down. even when they are working and playing a tone, they don't sound very good. The lead wires to the voice coil look intact and everything, so yeah. Interestingly, the tweeters all look the same. This one has ProAc written on the front of it. I think one of the tweeters, I think it was 4, wasn't working particularly well. Can't remember now. But basically the idea is to make 2 good speakers out of these 4. And I think I've selected these cabinets, the lighter colour. So we'll sand those back and they can be re-oiled. I'll strip out the front baffles, clean them back and repaint those, although they're pretty good actually on these 2, so we might be okay. And then to pick the 2 best tweeters and get those in there, the 2 best woofers, which really are the only 2 that work. So what we'll do, we'll clean up the fronts of these, pick the best screws, and obviously the 2 best crossovers. So we'll rebuild the crossovers, components like for like. David doesn't want to do anything crazy with them, just basically build a good original pair out of 2 of these. So yeah, that's the plan really, to strip them down and make 2 decent speakers. So I'll bring you in closer and we'll have a look at the cabinets closer. Right, so they're quite a small little cabinet. Like I say, I think these are probably one of the earlier versions. Width wise, 152 millimeters. Height, 266 millimeters, and depth 218. Really small woofer in them, about 90 mil, so about 3.5 inch, something like that. A silk soft dome tweeter, which is quite nice. I think these are Ciaz drivers, I'm not too sure. And then on the back, it's quite funny really. You've got the base port here, and these are actually drinking straws pushed in there and then sprayed. And if you look closely on this one that's lost its paint, you can see the blue and red stripes on the straws. Remember those? So yeah, quite interesting really. They're kind of a hardwood ply construction, I think, with a veneer on them. Yeah, so we'll have a look inside one. Pretty basic inside. And yeah, really then it's a case of cabinet refurbishments and then taking our 2 good woofers out, picking the best of the tweeters and building 1 cabinet, or 2 cabinets, 2 good speakers. Yeah, so just to have a look at the cloths as well, the 2 lighter grey covers are in reasonable condition, but this one has a rip. So these are on a plywood frame. The 2 burgundy ones, again, they're not bad, but we've got a corner scuff there, so we'll recloth those as well. Carefully take off the badges that are literally just stuck to the cloth, as you can see. Clean those up and refit those. Whether I'll glue them like they've done here, probably not. I'll probably just staple it. But they need to be nice and flush, so yeah, we'll see. Right, let's have a look inside. Right, let's have a look inside this one. So we have machine screws holding everything in, which is nice. Yeah, these are another speaker like the I guess the LS35A, small baffle, small driver. Gonna be very good in the vocal range, good imaging. Yeah, just a nice little mini monitor really. So there's our woofer, socking great magnet on there. Yeah, it's a Ciaz driver, and yeah, very small little cone. Yeah, pretty mad really. So what I'm going to do is just clip these off, leaving a bit of the insulation there so I know what's what. This woofer is one of them that isn't working, and that feels quite raunchy. So yeah, I suspect our voice coil is packing up. I get intermittent DC resistance across there as well, so yeah, there we go. Right, so inside there we have the crossover at the bottom. Let's take our tweeter out. Wood screws on the tweeter. Yeah, so a countersunk wood screw, like a number 4 or something like that. Interestingly, the foam isn't in this one. So yeah, I'll scan speak tweeter. Okay, that looked like a should look like a Vifa tweeter to me. Like one of these. Yeah, it's not though. Very similar size. Yeah, the that's a bit bigger. So yeah, we'll try and clean that up. But I think all the tweeters were pretty good actually. So yeah, there's those drinking straws I was talking about. That's literally what they are. Love it. Right, let's take our crossover out. Yeah, quite interesting on the crossover. The filtering's done on the negative side, I think. Yeah, so there's our crossover. So we've got, what's that, a 5 microfarad L cap, 15 ohm resistor, and a 16 microfarad L cap. Okay. This was one that I reflowed all the joints because they were just corroded and really bad, and that got things working a little bit better. And we got another little 5 microfarad there, a 4.7 ohm resistor, a 3.3 microfarad cap, 3 inductors. Simple as that really. Yeah, so our positive here is picking up the positives of both of our drivers, and then on the negative we are doing our crossover comes from that, which is, yeah, a bit strange. I have looked up the schematic for this and that is how it was done. So yeah, interesting really. What I'll do, I will look to draw this out in a minute. So yeah, there we go. That's about it really. So I'm going to, in the next video, refurbish both cabinets. So I'm going to keep the lighter coloured ones. Actually, while we're here, let's see if this front baffle comes out. Pretty sure it does. Yep. So that will make life easier. Come on. So there we go, that is MDF 12mm, I would have said. Take all these out. So that's going to be nice and easy to refurbish. I mean, actually that's in really good condition. I don't actually think we really need to do anything with that. Bitumen pads on the inside, just to take some ringing out of the cabinet. But yeah, that's it basically. There we go. Right, okay, next video, cabinet work.